Good evening and welcome to tonight's Common Council meeting for Tuesday, October 13th, 2020. Clerk will call the roll, please.
Odeker,
Present.
Hanson,
Present.
Mansdorf,
Present.
Gilson,
Harold.
Hildebrand,
Here.
Wilson,
Here.
Shilsky,
Here.
Nelson.
Here.
Let the record show we have a quorum. Next is the pledge. Please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on the agenda is the approval of the consent agenda. The chair will entertain a motion to approve.
I move we approve the consent agenda. Wilson.
Second.
We have a first and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Clerk will call the roll, please.
Nelson,
Yes.
Hildebrand,
Yes.
Mansdorf,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Odeker,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Shilsky,
Yes.
Gilson.
Yes.
Motion carried, thank you. Item 4 is the audience portion where we ask people to sign up and be recognized. That's where you do the talking and we do the listening. Tonight, no one signed up. We do encourage citizens to tell us what's on their mind, and that's the place for you to do it at our council meetings and get your word in. Moving on, item 5 is not needed. No items were removed from the consent agenda. Item 6, committee reports and actions. Finance and Personnel Committee recommendation from October 13th, earlier this evening actually, approve Center for Tech and Civic Life COVID-19 response grant application. I'll ask City Clerk Sabrina Dittman to give us a brief summary, and then I'll call on Chairman Nelson for a motion. Clerk Dittman?
So the clerk's office or I did apply to the Center for Tech and Civic Life COVID-19 response grant. The city does qualify for 5,000 additional dollars that would go towards election costs. I'm looking for approval to submit the application for the grant to get the $5,000 for the extra election costs. Total city budget this year for the elections, $13,500. And as of October 1st of this year, we're already at over $14,000. So this money will help with the additional costs that we've seen with the absentee ballots that the clerk's office has received. We have 1,800 absentee ballots that have been issued to the citizens here in the city. Postage alone for September was $1,700, so the money will get applied to that.
Thank you. I'll ask Chairman of Finance Nelson for a motion, please.
I'll move that we have the clerk apply for the COVID-19 response grant for Center for Tech and Civil Life, Civic Life,
For $5,000.
for $5,000.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any questions? I would have one for the clerk. Is 5 our maximum amount, or is there a standard flat amount that a city our size can obtain?
That is the maximum amount that the city of Plymouth qualifies for this grant. We did already receive the grant that we applied for with the Wisconsin Election Commission. That was $5,700. All of the money for that grant has been spent. We did buy an additional ClearCast ballot machine specifically to process the absentee ballots on election day, just due to the extreme high increase of processing those ballots on election day. So part of that money went to an additional ballot, the ClearPass machine. So we'll have 5 machines working that day.
Good. That's a good thing to do. It sounds like you found a good source of revenue. Thank you. Any other questions? Clerk will call the roll, please.
Hanson,
Yes.
Matswer,
Yes.
Shilsky,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Gilson, Nelson,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Hildebrand.
Motion carried, thank you. Item 7, new business, event request, Plymouth Holiday Gathering Drive-Through Parade hosted by Plymouth Chamber of Commerce. Request to have no parking on East Mill Street from North to Caroline Street on Friday, November 27th from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. And I see we have our chamber director with us this evening for questions after we get through the first part of this. I'll ask Director Austin for a brief summary, please.
And actually, if you don't mind, I don't mind if Mary would step up and give an overview of her vision of the 2020 holiday parade.
Sounds good. Welcome.
Well, we decided we needed to do something because nobody was happy with the fact that we'd have to cancel the parade. And with the number of people that we attract, there was no other way to do it. So we decided to have the people who wanted to submit their floats park along the sides of Mill Street, and then the general public would be able to drive down Mill Street to see the floats. Now, they could drive through as many times as they want. We're going to have signs instituting a 5-mile-an-hour speed limit, so hopefully there won't be any issues that way. But that way they can see the floats and the businesses can still showcase their business. And that was the purpose of it, because I think they were more hurt about not being able to have their business float than the public was about not being able to go. So that's the plans are. I've submitted a map to the chief, and he more or less said, good idea. So we'll work out a few more details as far as some of the barricades and blocking and signs and things like that. But so far we've started to get in entries, and we have about 20% of our normal number, but it's very, very early. So that's a good start. Any questions?
Any other questions?
Just a comment, I thought that was really creative.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank
Pretty
you.
neat idea.
The chief is here tonight. Chief, do you have any problems that you see with the drive-along or drive-through?
No, I don't anticipate any problems. We're just going to allow westbound traffic on East Mill Street. We'll have a detour similar to the Mill Street Festival, which would be on Caroline Street, East Main Street, back down to North Street. And then we'll have an officer station at the corner of East Mill and North, and then one on the corner of Caroline and East Mill Street to direct traffic in, and also 2 officers floating where needed. That overtime cost will be covered through our special event fund, which we haven't utilized at all this year. So, excuse me. Fighting me today. So we'll work with the Department of Public Works to get some barricades out. One thing we haven't decided on is to allow cross traffic north and south at East Mill and Stafford. Being at night, we're going to have vehicles going through. We'll have the flashing traffic control lights at that intersection flashing. I don't anticipate any problems, but more than likely if we have pedestrian traffic cross, which we can't really control, we'll have an officer standing there just to make sure it's safe, because we'll have additional officers and to take care of any other issues. So outside of that, it's really no different planning this event than we would if it was the Christmas parade, other than having less officers working that night. And I've been in contact with Mary through the chamber, and I'm sure we'll talk several times before the event.
Question, Mary, I would assume you're still going to have pedestrian traffic, if we want to use that word.
Well, we're going to try and discourage it with all of our, our publications and our advertisement. We're going to discourage the traffic, and we've asked that our floats be done so the main part is facing the street. So they're gonna be, you know, doing all of their decorating on that side of the street versus the sidewalk side. The businesses have reported to us that they do very little business that night, so they're not losing anything by us not having the parade or by us doing this.
Okay. Good, thank you. I think Alderman Nelson is right. It sounds like a pretty innovative idea, so let's see how it goes. Any other questions? We have a first and a second, since we already have the funds appropriated and we're not increasing anything. The chair will just ask for a yea or nay on this. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
I
Pardon?
don't have a first or second on that.
Oh, I thought we did.
No.
I'm sorry. I'm a little quick there. Okay, let's back up. Entertain a motion to approve the Plymouth Holiday Gathering Drive-Through Parade as described.
I move we approve the Plymouth Holiday Gathering drive-through parade.
We have a first and a second. Okay, now we'll go forward. Sorry about that. Thank you. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Chair, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Hang on one second there. What's this petition thing about the pickleball?
It's that letter that was in the mailbox, but we're writing the petition for pickleball. It's not on the agenda.
Oh, that's not on the agenda.
Oh, is it going to be?
No, that's just information.
Okay, thank you.
So are they gonna play, will it be open for pickleball? Will the,
At this point, no.
Motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second? We have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.